Hi guys, this is Eugene Bruno. I am the managing attorney at Eugene Bruno Associates. We are personal injury attorneys here in San Diego, California. Today we're going to be talking about how to calculate pain and suffering as it relates to a car accident case. So to start with, pain and suffering is a difficult, complicated kind of calculation to make. And if you're watching this video, it is very likely that you're in negotiations with an insurance adjuster and you may not see eye to eye on a value of your pain and suffering. In other words, the kind of day-to-day problems that you had as a result of your injury. Many times clients come to me asking about an easy formula to calculate pain and suffering, such as a multiplier 3 times or 2.5 times medical bills. Sometimes people ask about, a per day, so $1,000 a day or $500 a day or some amount per day for what you're going through. I don't believe in those kinds of calculations. And I don't think the insurance companies are particularly impressed by those calculations either. The reason is that calculating pain and suffering can be a difficult and subjective thing. Juries struggle with this every day. My advice to you is to look to the instructions that the jury would be getting from the court in order to come up with a figure for pain and suffering. And that's a very broad term. Most people will think of pain as physical pain, but the jury instructions have multiple categories. Physical pain, sure, any injury is going to involve some physical pain and you should be compensated for that. However, injuries also involve some emotional pain, and that's a separate category under the law. So if you're having trouble negotiating with an insurance company and they say, well, your physical pain was only worth this much, okay, then let's put that number aside for now. Let's talk about emotional pain and suffering. Okay, tell me about that. There may also be more categories that you can discuss. So for instance, a scar on your face, you would probably want to argue that it was a painful scar, physically painful, so I should get compensated for physical pain and suffering. I also was humiliated by this. I also feel uncomfortable. It's changed the way my face looks now. So maybe I deserve also emotional pain and suffering. Maybe I also should be getting compensated for disfigurement because a scar on my face is certainly a disfiguring thing. Those are all separate categories. There may also be additional categories that are relevant to your case, such as humiliation or inconvenience or some other sort of emotional or physical element to your case. My advice is that you argue each of them separately and put a price tag on each separately, rather than trying to figure out an easy way to calculate. I don't think there is an easy way to calculate. I think the better way to do is to say, let's talk about individual things that I went through. Let's talk about the physical pain. Let's talk about the emotional pain. Let's talk about the inconvenience of having to deal with doctor's appointments. Let's talk about the disfigurement if I'm left with a scar or a limp, or the physical limitations that I might have in the future because of that limp or because I've got continuous back pain. If you talk about each of these things separately, and if you tell the insurance company, I know that a jury is going to look at these things separately because I've looked at the jury instruction and I can tell you that each and every element, each and every category of pain and suffering, I'm going to tell that jury I should get money for this, for pain and suffering, physical pain and suffering, for emotional pain and suffering, for disfigurement, for inconvenience, for anxiety, for humiliation. There's a long list. I think that's a better way to deal with the insurance companies. It will tell them you know the value of your claim. It will tell them you know how to calculate it because you've looked at the law that a jury would be getting. If you've been involved in a car accident and maybe you've tried to deal with the insurance companies, you're negotiating on your pain and suffering settlement right now because that's why you're watching this video, remember, get some advice. Call an attorney, call us. I'd be happy to walk you through this, the kind of calculations to make and the kind of arguments to make. When you're negotiating with an insurance company, you're up against a full-time professional negotiator. Make sure that you have the right advice to get everything you deserve. Good luck, take care. If we can be of help, give us a call. Thank you.